Welcome back guys to my subclass DK / Warden PVP build for the update 46 with two DK skill lines, Ardent Flame and Earthen Heart, plus the Warden Animal Companion skill tree, a melee setup with high burst and some dot pressure, on top enough tankiness and sustain. Let's get started with the first DK change from the Ardent Flame skill line. With Combustion, this passive now increased the damage from burning and poison by 33%, down from 40, and restores 423 Magicka and stamina when they are applied, down from 1k. The passive Warmth increased damage over time effects by 6% after using a direct damage Ardent Flame ability instead of simply reducing movement speed. Searing Strikes, so Venomous Claw and Burning Embers reduced the cost from almost 3k to 2.3k. Next change is about Battle Roar. This passive restores now 37 health, stamina and Magicka per ultimate, down from 50. Big nerf here, but necessary for subclassing, but still overpowered. Some changes obviously on the skills. Starting off with something unusual, Chains of Devastation. Used this one the past few times. It's an undodgeable gap closer, really effective against range setups, makes it way easier to catch up targets. It also delivers Major Berserk for a short duration, plus 10% flat damage on top, but need to say it's a little bit clunky to play, especially in lag. If you prefer something common, go with Engulfing Flames. It will also empower your flame damage attacks. Outgoing Swarm is another nice dot, which applies minor Wurm. Next up, Deep Fissure, a precast burst AoE damage ability, applies major and minor breach, 9k penetration, a true game changer, a spammable Molten Whip, still unbeatable on the DK. The hybrid morph with the extra weapon damage is for my playstyle way better than the Magicka morph, although if you struggle with healing and stamina sustain, it's not a shame to use Flame Lash instead. Shattering Rocks SCC, no much talk here, you know already it's broken. Same counts for Flames of Oblivion. Deals an insane amount of damage and delivers major savagery, 12% crit rate. Frontbar ultimate Dawnbreaker instead of Ferocious Sleep. Obviously not possible without the Draconic skill line. Felt a little bit weird at the beginning, but not really a big deal to be honest. Alternative, the Dual Ultimate Rend or Thrive in Chaos are good options too, with dual-wieldless weapons. Backbar Venomous Claw, a strong single target dot, which applies the Poison status effect too. Deceptive Predator, a snare removable for movement speed with Major Expedition and minor evasion, 10% AoE damage reduction. Race Against Time works too if you prefer extra crit damage instead of AoE damage mitigation. Resolving Vigor as healing over time and 3k armor. Healing Contingency as burst heal with my usual scripts, Gladiator's Tenacity and minor protection for the most amount of damage mitigation. As non-scribing user, Rapid Regeneration or Healing Ward are probably the best choices, with the restoration stuff slotted obviously. Blue Betty, a banger Warden skill for major brutality, 20% weapon damage, a huge amount of Magicka recovery, almost 400, that's insane, and even a free purge on top. Last but not least, the notorious Corrosive Armor, max penetration for direct damage abilities and huge tankiness. Please us, do not rework this one, just keep it like this until the end. For me as a 1vx player, probably my most favorite PvP ultimate in-game. One important defensive buff is missing, with this skill combo similar to my previous ones, Major Resolve, 6k armor, which is around about 9% damage mitigation, so Mighty Shodan as monster set is needed, but honestly super easy to farm, so no excuses here. Backbar Rallying Cry, what else? By far the best set in terms of defensive and offensive attributes. Honestly, just buy this one, you can basically use it on almost every other PvP setup. There is no need to swap Rally for something else, only worth to change on specific setups. Don't blame me for using Rally too often, blame Zos for releasing unnecessary garbage PvP sets over and over again. Frontbar Severa Scale, a really strong dot-based proc set, deals AoE damage on top and super easy to proc. Mythic, Saint and Seducer, best in slot for melee setup. The new one, Monomyth Reforged, looks promising too. Didn't test it yet, no time to grind at the moment, but could be worth to try. And as filler, 120 for the XHP. Armor types, 1 heavy chest, 1 light armor sash, 5 medium, with 1 reinforced on the chest for max armor, 2 sturdy and 4 well fitted. I slightly block more on this setup than usual, that's why I use 2 sturdy pieces. Full infused on jewelry with 1 stamina recovery and 2 weapon damage glyphs. Front by 2h more, it's sharpened with the flame damage enchant, but many options here. Great sword, dual with 2 maces, 2 swords, or a mix of 1 mace, 1 sword. All viable, depends always on the situation. Backbar and ice stuff or restoration stuff for non-scribe users in defending if the escape is poison. As race I'm not, for 2.6k armor, gives the extra tankiness I need, ulti regen, max stamina and HP. If you need the damage raise, go with High Elf or Dunmer. For more cost reduction, go with Breton or even Imperial. Mundus the for the extra Magicka recovery, Smoke Bear and just Buffwood for the extra Magicka stamina recovery and max HP. Vamp stage 3, you know the deal, for the undeath passive up to 15% damage mitigation. Attribute points 56 into Magicka, the rest into health. Just make sure to be at around 31k HP and you're Gucci to go. Obviously with another race you need to adapt these points here. Potion, the normal tricep potion, the detection potion with stealth detection, CC immunity and Magicka. Do CPs, pretty basic with Powerful Strikes, Mastered Arms, do Rebuff and Ironclad. Red ones sustain by suffering, Pain's Refuge, Celerity and Survival Instincts. Prebuff Rotation, starting off with Blue Betty for the weapon damage buff and sustain, Contingency for damage mitigation, Vigor, armor buff, and Predator for movement speed and AoE damage mitigation. Assure these buffs are up before and during combat. Damage Rotation. First of all, precast Flames of Oblivion. Now, if you are already in melee range, start applying Venomous Claw. If you are not in melee range, start precasting Deep Fissure, followed by Chains. Shattering Rocks into Dawnbreaker, into Molten Whip spam. Apply Venomous Claw after or before this combo if possible. With enough ulti points, use Corrosive Armor after the Flames of Oblivion precast to empower the whole combination. The most important part here is to line up the first or second Deep Fissure hit with Dawnbreaker or Molten Whip, with Shattering Rocks as done closely before Fissure hits, Chains or Venomous Claw as opener depending on the distance, Flames of Oblivion as precast dot, and Corrosive Armor to empower everything. About the defensive rotation or advices, I talked about it already on my first subclass setup. Basically the same except of Mercer's Resolve. I will link it in the description below. Check it out. If you have questions, type them in the comments or add me on Discord. No need to be shy here. Thanks for watching, enjoy the gameplay footage, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Hehehehe